If you're anything like me and you are looking to bring a goal to fruition, you want it to happen sooner than later. Oftentimes when people come to me for big weight loss goals and challenges, they often say, what do I need to do to get this weight off right now? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I woke up yesterday and I looked at myself in the mirror and I don't like what I see and I want to lose it tomorrow. And I'm always reminded of Abraham Lincoln. And Abraham Lincoln said that if he were given 6 hours to chop down a tree, he would take the first 4 to sharpen his axe. And I believe Abe had the right idea in terms of not just getting to your goal, but actually sustaining it and, more importantly, doing it well. I think you would agree that if you've gained some weight, that has happened progressively and you've had to put some work in, right? Maybe it happened over 6 months or a year, or maybe 5 years, or maybe even 10 years. But the point is that there is a systematic way that you got there, right? Whether you're happy or not with where you are, that was a systematic process that took time. So therefore, in order to take that weight off, guess what? That systematic process needs to happen as well. Obviously in the opposite direction, but it's important to understand that gaining weight is not just going into a surplus of calories and eating excess calories. There's a lot more to weight gain. It's not just calories. Gaining weight is actually a byproduct of mishandling emotions. JT fired shots. Hear me out. I say I mishandled emotions because food is an emotional thing. Think about it. Every time you sit around a table, you have your friends, your family, your loved ones. It's an emotional thing. Your emotions are connected to that event and your brain sort of anchors onto those emotions. And now every time you see food, whether your friends are around or not, you still get those fuzzy emotions and those emotions make you hungry. And so every single time that you have a situation going on, call it you're happy or you're sad or you're bored, we have a tendency to reach for food. That's what we call emotional eating. Most of us are emotional eaters to one extent or the other. And so I'm not pinpointing this or blaming you or throwing you under the bus. I'm simply saying that most people suffer from this particular challenge. And it's not just about calories. It's just about handling emotions the right way, channeling that energy in a very different direction, and more importantly, being aware of that. And so losing weight realistically, right, should look like this. If you're joining a program, if you're joining a weight loss program, I would encourage you to look at a program that is at least 90 days long. Why 90 days? Statistics show and studies show that it takes at least 66 days to form a new habit, a sustainable habit. Some people out there say 21 days. I don't believe it. I say at least 66 days, and some other people say 240 days. I would go probably with the longer term idea, simply because it depends on the habit. It depends on what habit you're breaking out of. And so all these things are to be taken into consideration. But most importantly, if you're going to embrace a weight loss journey, you want to start off with a minimum of 90 days. I say the minimum of 90 days because you want to create a habit, not just that, but you also want to avoid some bad side effects from weight loss. For example, flaccid skin, right? If you lose a lot of weight in a very, very short period of time, you get flaccid skin, meaning that something was occupying your body before, and when it goes away, that skin gets flaccid, right? Most of us don't want that look. That is still going to happen regardless of how slow or fast you do it, but it doesn't happen to an aggressive extent if you actually do that progressively. And so for that reason, we want to make sure that we space it out, that we're sequential and systematic in the way we lose weight. The other challenge I see oftentimes with weight loss is that your metabolism suffers a bunch of dysfunctionalities when you lose weight too quickly. If you're used to consuming 3,000, 4,000 calories a day, and all of a sudden you cut back to 1,500 or 2,000 calories, that's too much of an impact and your body doesn't have time to adjust. And then of course your digestion is thrown off, your sleep is thrown off, your cortisol levels spike. And of course cortisol is not favorable to weight loss because that's a stress hormone. Your body sort of restricts and holds back. And of course, when you jump on the scale, it's not favorable to weight loss. And so we want to be careful with those metabolism changes, and we want to give our metabolism enough time to sort of stabilize when we make these changes, and we don't want to do that very quickly. Oftentimes I hear of people that have had heart attacks and strokes for losing weight too quickly, right? Once again, the body doesn't have enough time to adjust. The body is a rhythmic machine, and when you take those rhythms off, whether it's good or bad, the body needs time to adjust. So those very, very aggressive changes are never good for the body. So you want to be careful with that. Lastly, we see the bounce back effect, right? Some people lose 30, 40, 50 pounds, and if they do that in a very, very aggressive way and they're not coached well, what we see is they bounce back, the weight comes on with a vengeance, and maybe they lost 30 pounds. We see them gain 40 and 50 back, which makes people incredibly, incredibly frustrated. So the right protocol, the right timeline for weight loss is initially 90 days. That's where you want to get started. And you want to know that your first 3 weeks is when you're going to see the biggest, right, leaps and bounds. This is when you're going to lose the most weight if you're being coached well, if you're doing systematically, sequentially. First 3 weeks, you're going to have big weight loss, maybe 5 pounds the first week, maybe 4 pounds the following week, maybe another 6 or 7 pounds on week 3, right? I've seen people lose anywhere between 12 and 14 pounds. And then the question is, JT, is a lot of that water weight? Some of it is, but a lot of it is body fat, because you see the body fat decreasing as well. We've done DEXA scans on our clients, and we've seen that they're not just losing water weight, they're actually losing body fat. And so first 3 weeks, you'll see the biggest leaps and bounds. Then things generally stabilize. And as a coach, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my clients to get into a steady pace of 2 to 4 pounds a week, because that's healthy weight loss. Anything outside of 4 pounds, when you start getting into the 6 and 7 pounds a week, it becomes a little dangerous from a health perspective. So 2 to 4 pounds is what you're looking for on a weekly basis. Depending on your goal, you want to be able to stretch that out, depending if you have a bigger goal, or depending on your goal, anywhere between 90 days to 6 months. And what we see in our programs in 90 days is people can lose anywhere from 30 to sometimes 50 pounds in 90 days. You would say, JT, isn't that pretty aggressive? Yes, but we're doing it simply by changing nutrients, macronutrients around. We're not simply taking out all the nutrient density out of people's diets. And so they're still well nourished, they're eating consistently, they're well hydrated, and we're basically being very, very smart in the kind of movement that we are asking them to do. So we're not having them do crazy workouts or burn 15 or 1,800 calories per workout. We're not doing any of those aggressive things. And so we're doing it in a very smart, sequential way. And for that reason, very healthy. 90 days, what we see there is 30 to some people we've seen 50 pounds. Mostly the men are in the higher range of that. But 30 to 50 pounds is what we see in 90 days. In our 6-month programs, we've seen people lose up to 75 and 100 pounds. And we've had people that have come on with us for an entire year, and they have aggressive goals. 150 pounds is what we've seen in an entire year. And that is literally like losing an entire person. But because we did it systematically and progressively, people had no issues with metabolism or any heart conditions or any issues. They actually stayed very healthy. After they got done with coaching, they sustained it. And we still keep in touch with a lot of these people, and they've been off of coaching for the last 3, 5, 6 years. They've still kept the weight off because we show them how to do that in a very systematic way. So you want to set some realistic guidelines. Remember, I said 90 days at a minimum. You want to make sure that you have a professional guiding you and facilitating this program for you. Please don't try to do it on your own. Can you do it on your own? Yes, but you want to make sure you have a professional. You want to do that in a very systematic way. Remember that 2 to 4 pounds ongoing is what healthy weight loss looks like. And more importantly, you want to be careful with your people, your places, and your vices. There's people in your life that every time you see them, right, you get tempted and triggered to eat, drink, or maybe you go to certain places and your senses get overwhelmed when you walk into those places, and you don't have the self-control and the discipline to stay away. And so for the time being, you want to stay away from those places. Vices simply speaks about being very introspective, understanding what you do when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're bored. And if generally you're reaching for food, you want to reframe that activity and do something that is actually conducive to the new thing that you're looking to do with your health. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, you're going to enjoy Master Your Cravings. This is an incredible video. Watch it next because it's going to piggyback off of everything I just said. And if this is your first time on my channel, I'd like to encourage you to subscribe, hit the bell notification so that every time I release videos like this, you, my friend, will be the first one to know. Thank you for watching. JT Tapias, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.